Buongiorno e benvenuti. My name is Giovanna and I welcome you to my kitchen on the cliff. Today we're going to make something sweet and something that brings sunshine to the table whenever you serve it. So it's a winter thing, although I make it year-round. We are going to make preserved oranges and orange marmalade. So this is a simple, very simple recipe. We're going to use oranges. These are navel oranges. We're going to use sugar, water, and at the end we're going to put an ounce of brandy in each one. These are well-preserved oranges. Between the sugar and the brandy, they will be perfectly fine and it will never go bad. The first thing we're going to do is to boil these oranges for 45 minutes. You count that after the water comes to a boil. We put the oranges in. All right, this is a glass cover with a handle that I use only for this kind of thing. If I want to keep something submerged in the hot water, I simply put the cover on top and everything is now underwater. And once this comes to a boil, we're going to simmer it for 45 minutes. The reason for doing that is that the rind of the orange tends to be bitter, so we're going to try to release some of the bitterness. That's a reason for this pre-boiling. While the oranges are coming to a boil, the first thing we have to do is to sterilize. The bands and the jars are going to be put into a pot of cold water. These are the bands and they're going in with the glass jars. All of it is going to be sterilized. So we turn the heat on high, we bring it to the boil, and then you clock it for 45 minutes. The oranges have come to a boil, so we're going to lower the flame to just a mere simmer. And we're going to set the timer for 45 minutes. So our oranges have cooked for 45 minutes, and we're now going to take them out of the water. While the oranges are cooling, we're going to make simple syrup. Simple syrup is sugar. We have 2 cups of sugar and water. Turn the gas on. I'm going to give it a stir. So we're mixing to dissolve the sugar in the water. And then we're going to bring it to a boil. As soon as it's brought to a boil, we're going to add the orange slices, which we will prepare meanwhile. While the syrup is coming to a boil, we are going to cut the oranges. So we are going to cut 1/3 of the orange and reserve it. The rest is going to be sliced. All right, I'm making slices about 1/2 inch thick. You don't get much more than 4 slices from an orange. Of course, Sicily is a great producer of oranges. The famous blood oranges are from Sicily. The valley around Palermo, which is the capital of Sicily, was called Conca d'Oro, or the Golden Bowl. And that was where all the oranges were grown, cultivated. The orange blossoms in the early spring are absolutely enchanting. The fragrance is magnificent. So people flock to Sicily in the early spring for the almond flowers, the orange flowers. Now that it's boiling, we're putting the orange slices in the syrup. This is going to cook in the syrup for 25 to 35 minutes. We want them to be cooked. We want them to be sort of translucent. Okay, now that we have a good boil, I'm going to lower it and I'm going to let it simmer. Meanwhile, the perfect slices are going to be for the preserved oranges, and those are presented just as they are, as a slice. These, the ends, right, the 2 ends, and any slice that wasn't perfect, we're going to use for the marmalade. Now, marmalade is something that you spread on toast, so you want it to be in small pieces. So I'm making tiny slices, I would say again about 1/2 inch, but each slice has a little bit of pulp. That's why we took off 1/4 or 1/3 of each end of the orange, so we would have this to make the orange marmalade. Oh, you will love this. You will just take this by the spoonful and eat it. But it's also good on toast. Of course, this is one of the things that you can invite your children and grandchildren to help with. You know, children love to do things like this because they're never allowed to use knives, but you know, this is safe. Making orange marmalade is a good social event. Take advantage of it. We're going to take out the jars from the bath. Now we're going to transfer these beautiful slices right into the jars and simply stack them. We're going to add 1 ounce of brandy to each jar of preserved oranges. So that will preserve the oranges even more and preserve us too. This is a funnel that is used in canning, which widens the top so it's easier to pour. We're going to cover the oranges in syrup. So here's the syrup, hot syrup, and we're going to pour it right in. And when it's almost at the top, we are going to pour 1 ounce of brandy. If you have this before you go to bed, you'll sleep very well. We're going to dip the centers in the hot water, place them on the jar. These have already sterilized. I'm going to tighten the bands around each jar. And I place it upside down for 5 minutes. Obviously these are hot, so you have to hold on to something. So place them upside down. In 5 minutes we turn them right side up. I added a cup of sugar and a cup of water to the syrup that was left over. Brought it to the boil, and now I'm going to add the chopped oranges. We bring it to the boil and we let it cook for 45 minutes. Stir from time to time. So this has cooked now for 45 minutes, but it absorbed practically all the liquid. So I'm going to add a little more brandy. That's it, 1 jigger of brandy. This will be delicious on toast, on ice cream, by the spoonful. I'm dipping these in the hot water, placing them on the jar, and then we'll put the collar. I place it upside down for 5 minutes. Oranges and lemons make Sicilians smile. They're just part of our DNA. So today we made preserved oranges, nice beautiful slices of orange. What can you do with this? You take an English muffin, you toast it, or you take a slice of good bread, homemade or good quality store-bought, and put a slice of these oranges and eat it, and it'll bring sunshine into your dining room, wherever you are. And then the leftovers we made into a marmalade. This is wonderful on toast, it's good for breakfast. You can add it to many meats. This is a wonderful ice cream topping. Actually, so is this. You can take a slice of this orange, put it on a plate, and put a scoop of ice cream on top. So there are lots of ways of serving it. There are lots of ways of enjoying it. All of it will remind you of Sicily, and if you've never been there, we hope that you will visit. If you've never been to Sicily, say, I haven't been there yet, as my husband always reminds everybody. So don't forget to look at our videos, share them with friends, subscribe. Alla prossima volta. Ciao, ciao.